Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm VelvettB, and thanks for joining me today for the speed build of this base game, Modern Home. And this is base game only. So no other packs, not even the holiday pack, just base game. That's it, nothing else. So I use move objects on, show hidden objects, show live edit objects, and those are basically your debug cheats. So I did use debug for this, and I use live move objects. So make sure that if you do download this, that you put that on before adding that to your save, because you'll need it. Because I always use it. I can't help myself. Anyway, I hope you guys are well today. I'm Velvet. And I am a big lover of The Sims 4. I love, actually, you know what, honestly, The Sims franchise. And I love to build. So it's it's my very, very favorite thing to do in The Sims 4. And I also like to play some gameplay from time to time. I really enjoy that. I've got a few challenges happening on my channel right now. And I do enjoy the odd little bit of CAS as well. So, that's a little bit about me. I'm from New Zealand, and I am a mum of two. I've got two kids, two cats, and a husband. And, yeah, I spend a lot of time, way too much time, making content for the interwebs. And I'm really grateful that you guys have come along and watched some of it today. So thank you very much for doing that. But this base game home, I completed, or I started after we had the latest update in February 2025, where we have gotten some, you can see them there, like some new columns. We got new windows, we got carpet, updated carpet, and we got a new fireplace, we got some new artwork. We've got all of these lovely new things in base game. And of course, I was just over the moon excited about it, because I get so excited by any new items in the game because that's just how I am. But also, it made me really excited to get in there and work on a base game only build, because it's always a challenge. Base game only builds, well, they are for me anyway. I don't know about anybody else, but definitely for me, because the whole thing is I like to try and make it look really good, which is kind of a no-brainer, but I do, and make it kind of look like it isn't a base game only house. That's kind of my aim. And I just sort of do that in different ways, and by just using some different building techniques. And I feel like base game only builds really challenge you as a builder to really start to think outside of the box and think about doing things in slightly different ways from what you might not think about if you have all these packs available to you, and you don't have to think so much about getting creative and creating these things for yourself, because you just have them there in the game and you can just do it. But with a base game only build, you do have to get a lot more creative. So I feel like that is a really good challenge as a builder to do every now and then, is just try and make something that is really outside of the box and just a little bit creative and interesting for a build that is only using the absolute minimum of packs. So yeah, I'm always up for a challenge, so I love doing a base game build. I actually really enjoy base game builds, and I should do them more. But I also like using all of my packs that I own, so I guess that's the thing, right? You've got to make a decision whether or not these things will work, or what you want to do. Dear. So I am currently doing a little bit of a decorative thing around the house at the moment. So I'm just creating these little decorative overhangs, and I'm just using these via fences. So you can sort of see that there. There's like a really low flat fence in the base game that you can use or create these with. And I'm just doing them on an angle, and then across as well. So it's kind of like a crisscross effect. And then I just delete all the little bits of room left in between. And then you've just kind of got this trellis work, this horizontal trellis work that you can, yeah, it's basically a decorative effect. If you want to put like plants and stuff on it, it's actually quite a good thing, or a good technique for doing that. I didn't in this instant. I didn't feel like it suited the house, but it is something that I have done in the past where I've just created my own trellis work and added like plant work to the outside. And it is a neat way of actually doing that. Quite good for, you know, little cottagey style homes and things like that. Yeah, very cutesy, very cutesy. And you see here at the front of the house, I did create this wibbly wobbly path, which was a little complicated. And this is actually a technique that Kate Emerald has on her YouTube channel. So if you are wanting to learn how to do that, I actually got this from Kate Emerald. And that's the thing, like as a builder, you're always learning from other builders, I feel like. And, you know, Kate is kind of one of those builders where, I don't know, she's builder goals for me. She's just an amazing builder. And I just watch her do things and I'm just like, oh, man, she's so good. You know? And yeah, she's definitely builder goals for me, and you know, got some amazing building tutorials and tips, and you know, just watching her build and just create these amazing big mansions, and just the amount of time and effort and skill that goes into those is just crazy good. So anyway, if you are interested in how to do the wibbly wobbly path, well, you saw me do it, but also if there is a tutorial on Kate Emerald's YouTube, which I will try and remember to add. I'll write that down actually right now. Wibbly wobbly path link. So yeah, I'll put that in the description. I've written it down, so in theory I should remember to do it. I'm shocking, like sometimes I'll write, oh, I'll add this link to that in the description when I'm doing the voiceover, but then I forget. Because my brain just moves on to the next thing, and then it's just like, thought gone. Goldfish brain, I tells ya. So anyway, great tutorial, and it's a great little technique. I kind of had the theory in my head of how to do it, but it's actually quite complex to get the right wibbly wobbly kind of effect and how you actually sit the half kind of rounded room thingies. So yeah, I thought I had it, and then I just like had to go back to the tutorial and watch it again because I was like, I did not have it. Because yeah, it is a little complex as far as which way you face things, but you know, the actual technique of it is simple enough once you get the hang of it. So you'll see around the place that I have actually used a couple of different techniques for having the lowered areas in the yard, because I have built this on the Umbrage Manor lot in Willow Creek. So this is a 40 by 30 lot, and I just basically, I wanted to leave myself space for landscaping. So I wanted to also get creative with landscaping. So I decided to use like different heights on the landscaping just to add a point of interest. So on the front yard area, I've actually used platforms. So basically it's just a matter of putting on a platform and then just changing the height of it down. And that'll actually dip the platform down into the ground, and then you can just add your stairs just to make it accessible. In the backyard, however, I couldn't do that because I wanted to connect the pool to the dip down area so I could do windows along the pool. So to be able to do that, you need to do a basement level and have an open basement. So basically you put the basement in and select the basement, and then there's like a yellow line that goes around the top of it. And basically you click on that and it goes remove ceiling. And you can go remove ceiling. And so you remove the ceiling and that opens up the basement level area for you so that you can actually get in there and decorate it. And then you can actually lift up the bottom of that basement area so it's not so low. So, you know, just like any sort of platform kind of thing where you can move it up and down in any point of the house for creating that sort of thing. So I have done that and just created like two different levels of basement in the back area. When I get to that, you'll probably see that I'm just sort of talking through it, but yeah. And one level sort of like right next to the pool, and you can kind of see through the windows into the pool, and then like there's another slightly raised area through there, and that's how I created that. So at the moment, what I'm kind of doing is creating like custom kind of walls slash window kind of slash dividers. So I'm actually using just a wall, a couple of different windows, and then just leaving some of the wall exposed just to create like a different effect for, yeah, just kind of a divider. If you're wondering what that big glass domed thing is at the back of the house, that's actually an internal garden. So, or an inside garden. I don't know why, but I just kind of had this idea in my head that I wanted to create this inside style garden. So that's what I did. That's basically it. It's just I had this idea and then I made it. And I just wanted to have it like two levels. The reason I wanted to have it two levels is basically that if you wanted to grow some trees inside there, then you can, it just leaves you the room for it. And I actually opened up from the second level. I haven't done it yet, but on that second level I will put some fencing along there, so it is actually on that second level an open area that you can look down onto the garden, and you'll see, yes, just doing it there now. So it does make it, like, so you can sit there and, the Sims can look out over into their beautiful garden down on the bottom level. And it's just like, a cute little neat idea. It's quite funny because it's like a 40 by 30 lot, but it's actually not that big a house. Like, it probably looks bigger than it actually is because it's only a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So it's not like super big. It's not really set up for kids. It's not a family home. It's more adults. It might be flatmates. It might be, a couple of generations, adult and elders. I don't, whatever. In terms of the mix of different Sims that you might want to have in there. But I definitely saw this more as an adult home where the kids are no longer in the house. They've moved to this more modern, easy to maintain lot, which is better for entertaining and just, living life and having a good time. But yeah, definitely not set up as a family home. I did a single room and a double room, but yeah, not like a kid's single room, if you know what I mean. It's just like an adult single room. I mean, it could be like a teenager and two parents. I mean, that's a possibility as well because, your teenagers don't really have so much with the swings and the monkey bars and that sort of thing, which is none of that in this house. None of that. Not that you have base game swings, I don't think, but, there's no outdoor kid stuff. Let's just put it that way. But you can put whoever you like in here. I don't mind. You do what you please. It's your game. You do what you want. So we have got a lovely pool here in the backyard, and you can sort of see the two-level sort of basement area as such, but it's all lifted up, so it doesn't look like a basement. And I'm just using a variety of windows in different ways just to create different looks around the house as well. So you can sort of see I've used these square windows and done a boom, 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 boom down and on a sort of diagonal. And again, it's just sort of like a modern and a different kind of look. So it's not something that you would necessarily just get in the game. So it's something you have to, creatively think about, just placing things in a slightly different way, and that's okay. Just doing a few rocks around the edge of the pool just to create it again, just like a little bit of a different look. And the fencing that I have used around the house area, you would have noticed that it looks a little different from what, you might otherwise be able to find in the game. And the reason it looks different is because I've created it myself. So it is a 4-high half wall, and I've used the new square windows, the HBD square window, and used that as basically the decoration on the fence. So it's like basically a glass fence, but it's a custom glass fence, if that makes sense. So that's what I've created, and you can sort of see me creating it there. I've just created a black wall and a black top, and then I've just added the black windows there. And then that's a pool level windows going in underneath that, so you can sort of see into the pool from that bottom level of the basement area. So that's kind of how I've done those things around the place. I've used 3 colors on the exterior. So I've used the new white tile that came out with the update on the bulk of the house. I've used the black roofing. I've used black trim, black windows. So that's bringing the black into it. And then in the wood panel section, I've used a vertical brown, sort of mid-brown wood, just to add, a bit of a difference in terms of color, because it just looked a bit too much being all white and black, and I just wanted to add like a little bit of warmth through it. And wood is always a great way of adding warmth to a build, so that's what I did. And it's also a very modern thing, just having those different textures around the place. So I've kind of used that white tile, and then I've used the wood and a little bit of steel and bits and pieces of the steels on the roof, and then like with the black trim. So you know, you got those different kind of natural textures around the place. I kept it pretty simple as far as the plants that I used around the house. I didn't use so much with the flowers, like a teeny bit of flowers, which were the roses. But for the most part, I used a lot of the greenery. I felt like that worked really nicely for a modern house rather than having a lot of flowers. It does tend to be, yeah, a little bit more of a modern kind of vibe. The whole sort of green aspect. Used a few rocks around the place as well. Always handy to have. This is me just lining the side of the garage, being pedantic about how things are looking along the side. But I've mainly used the dark green bushes that you get in base game, not actually debug, just the dark green bushes that you can get with regular base game. I think I did use like maybe a couple of debug items here and there, but I didn't use a lot of debug. I might have used some locked items as well. So that was the unlock entitlement cheat. And yeah, other than that, it's just all base game, which is awesome. It's amazing how much just having these little extra items that we got released from the last update in base game just makes such a big difference to what you can do with your builds, and just how what's the best way to put that, how more creative, how you're more creative, that might be the better way to put it, how you're more creative with those items. And I don't know, there's just like there's a whole lot more, it feels like, modern stuff that's coming out for base game, and it does actually really help you create like more modern vibes for a home, which I really like. I mean, you know, I love building modern, or if you don't know that, I do love building modern in The Sims 4. I like build all sorts of different types of builds, but modern is probably my very favorite. And anytime I see a modern build, I'm just like, yeah, I'm a happy gal. But I do love all sorts of builds. I just love building in general. But yeah, I kept it pretty simple as far as like the types of plants that I used around the place. So I mainly used that palm ferny thing, and one other kind of plant is a potted plant on the exterior. So, you know, I kept it kind of consistent and simple. I used the plain black, it's supposed to be a pool light, but it's actually just a really nice light to have around the place. And this other curved light up above doors, bits and pieces, just to light around the place. I skipped over some of the lighting on the outside because it's just like me shoving lights around the place, as you do. But it should be nice and lit up around the house in the night time. So, you know, the Sims can get out there and really enjoy their decks, and sitting out there and partying and having a few dinner parties and, you know, all that sort of thing. So I did add a couple of pool lounges there on the outside. I just thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take one of these tables with the stripes on it and the umbrella. That was the point I meant to go for, the umbrella. And I just sort of added like a towel and a little squirty bottle, which I'm sort of pretending is going to be sunscreen. And I thought, you know, that would be quite nice over the lounges without it being an actual proper table, you know. And I created like this little custom drawed table here, and it's basically just using the Vault modular end table and I believe just the plain, I don't know the name of it, but it's just one of the plain wooden tables, and just popped it underneath, and it just looked really good. You know, that it had little drawers under there, and maybe there's like some utensils and plates and stuff in there. Also, this tile that we have there, that's from the new event that is currently happening in the game. So this is the Blast from the Past event, which has been a lot of fun. And yeah, that was, what was it called? It's like the Edwardian tile or something like that. It's quite funny because I ended up winning a copy of I actually won the birthday bundle, so it's Sims 1 and Sims 2, the legacy things. And I had a quick look in The Sims, and I was just sort of playing around through the tutorial, just reminding myself how to play it, because it has been literal, probably decades since I played it last. And I was having a look through the build buy in there, and then I saw that tile in Sims 1. I was just like, oh, Blast from the Past coming back, and then that's that tile come through in the Sims 1. I was like, oh, getting it now. Sometimes I do feel like I have missed out on some things in The Sims because my memory's bad, but I only kind of played Sims 1, a teeny bit of Sims 2. Like, I got the first disc, but I never got any of the expansions. I skipped Sims 3, and then, obviously Sims 4, I do play extensively. But yeah, sometimes with all the lore and the little bits and pieces, like the little details, I feel like I do miss out on just because I am not as familiar with The Sims as some of the players out there who will just like look at these little details and go, this is from this and this is from that. And I'm just like, yeah, nah. I have no idea whatsoever. But it was quite cool to actually go into Sims 1 and then see that reference for that tile that I've used in the backyard and go, hey, that's where that tile came from for the blast from the past event. So, it was nice. I felt like, I knew something for once. And then I'm sure somebody in the comments will probably tell me it was from something completely different and I'm a ding dong. As happens quite regularly. Anyway, it's fine. And you know what? It's quite interesting in this build. I love a small wall. Like, I love it. I love building with small walls, but I'm actually building with medium walls for once in this game. So I say that like I never do it. I do it. But I actually made the decision that the house actually looked better with a medium wall and looking slightly taller. So I did build this as a medium wall height. So yeah, I just got the floor plan down. So the bottom level is pretty open except for a bathroom, and then the top level two bedrooms and one bathroom up there. Fairly decent sized bathroom, and then a bit of a smaller one down there. And again, just using that Edwardian tile on the interior as well, but in a slightly different swatch. I'm sure that's what it's called, but I could be wrong. Just going on a very vague, quick memory of what it's called. Anyway, I'm using white walls and also just like really light wood floors. The reason I decided to go with the light wood floors is I just wanted to do something that was pretty similar to the color of wood that I chose on the exterior. And again, on the exterior, we've got black and white, and I wanted to reflect that on the interior as well. And I do bring a pop of color through through this bottom level as well. You'll see that will come into it like a little pop of color, and then I'll do like a texture behind the fireplace that I will put in at some stage. I more often than not prefer to have the dining table near the kitchen. In this instance, it didn't fit. Just where the entrance of the house was and just with the flow of the house, I kind of felt like the dining area really needed to be over this side of the house, and it worked so much better over here than anywhere else in the house. So I went with that. And so it's kind of goes, you come in the front door and you kind of got the kitchen off to your right, and then you'll have the living room kind of in front of you, and then you'll have the dining room off to the side. But I feel like that's okay because, while you'll have a bit of a trip to get from the kitchen to the dining in terms of getting the food there, if you're entertaining, which I feel like the Sims in here would be doing, because the house is kind of designed for that, in a way, then, it's actually quite good to have that living room dining kind of connection and have those in the similar sort of spot. And there's actually a bar going in there as well, so there's going to be kind of living room, bar, dining all in the same kind of ish area, and it feels good for entertaining, I feel like. But even though it is a bit of a hike to get from the kitchen through to the dining, which, yeah, as I said, it's not the fave and not how I'd love it for sit out, but sometimes the house just tells you which way things are going to go, and the house just said the dining's going to go over there, Velvet, so that's where I put the dining. Also, I did kind of like a double exit kind of thing. Like, this is kind of the exit one, and that kind of goes through to the to the front yard, and then I say exit, I mean entrance, and then there's like an entrance number 2, which is the actual entrance over by the kitchen. So I kind of did like two, like one feels like which will be more for the household, you know, coming in and out, because I feel like they would spend a lot of time outside, just, you know, hanging out by the fountain, maybe watching the sunset, you know, hollering at the neighbours going, Taru, Taru, how are ya? As they do. I'm just bringing in also a little touch of grey. So as I was kind of doing the furnishings, because I had white walls and I had quite a lot of black as far as the furnishings go, I felt like I needed another colour to kind of go in the room to work with it, and I didn't really want to go super bright. Like, I do bring a bit of brightness into the build, which you'll see when I start working on the living room. But yeah, I just kind of felt grey. It was kind of neutral, worked with the other colours, and yeah, just worked nicely with the room. So I am bringing in a bit of grey. I just needed something, another colour in here that would work. I'm also bringing in pops of blue, so you'll sort of see that here and there, the little touches of blue around the place, and that's my contrast colour that I'll be bringing around. You kind of see that on the vase on the table, and you'll see it very shortly in the living room area here, which I'm just creating. I'm just using some of the new kitchen counters that came with the update for the cabinets around the TV here, and this is the pop of colour that I'm kind of bringing in, like the tealy blue. So you'll see that start to pop up in a couple of places around the place. So yeah, 4 colours generally on the, well, I guess 5 colours when you think about the flooring. So you got the flooring, you've got the black, you've got the white, you've got the teal, and you've got the grey. So yeah, 5 colours altogether, but I feel like they all work pretty harmoniously together, so no problems there. Just using like the debug remote controls, if you're wondering what those are, and also just the debug wood sculpture down on the bottom, and it's also debug artwork up above the TV as well. I just saw that colour and I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's quite a nice colour. And then I'm just bringing like a couple of walls on the bottom level with the teal as just, yeah, you know, a pop of colour down there, just to make it less monochrome. I feel like the wood kind of breaks that monochrome kind of vibe as well, so it's all good. So I am just finishing off the kitchen. So I kind of put the kitchen down, and I was like, went back and did the clutter. So if you want to add clutter to the top of a microwave, because you'll notice whenever you try to add clutter to the top of a microwave, it kind of snaps down onto the counter. So you've kind of got to you've got to set this up so that you can do it. So I'm using the towel rack from BASEGAME, and I'm setting it so the top level of the towel rack is the same as the top level of the microwave. Move the microwave and the counter out of the way, and then you slide the items where the microwave would be, basically from the top of the towel rack to the top of the microwave, and then you put the microwave and counter back underneath it, and it's all, hey presto, slotted into place. I've also used some of the phones from the Blast from the Past event as well around the house, and that was actually really fun, just seeing some actual physical phones, because how long has it been since we've actually, I don't know, maybe some people actually have physical landlines, I don't know. I haven't had one in years, so it's actually quite funny to see one sitting around the house. I'm like, oh, that feels so retro. But I do feel like people still have these landlines around the place. They're quite fun. Anyway, so so that's about the kitchen done. All very black and white, and again, just like a little pop of blue in there with the milk cartons. Again, those were from the Blast from the Past event. So you'll see like a few of those items in there, and maybe a few other event items perhaps. Just trying to think if I did use anything else, but I don't think I did. So anyway, we're coming along. So just working on, I'm just jumping around from thing to thing at the moment, but just working on the last of the living room stuff here. So again, just sticking with the black wood and contrasting that with a little bit of the grey and pops of white around the place. I didn't really want to use white furnishing for this build because it felt like it was going to be too much white, because I've got white on the walls, so I had to bring in like a different color. I discovered, I didn't know this actually, when I did the BASEGAME update thing on my channel, like I did a little update video of all the items in BASEGAME, and I did not realize that there is actually like this little brick rug that came with the update. until I was building in this and I was looking at the rugs and it was base game only. It's like, hey, hang on, where did that rug come from? And it was just like, it's actually brick and it's designed to be used by the fire, but I was just using that as a rug around all over the place, just as a contrast kind of item. And I like it. So you'll see I've used it like in front of doors. I've used it under the dining table. I have used it in front of the fire as well. It's actually quite neat, just to use as a rug itself, because obviously it's a bit of a different pattern on it to what you would do if, or whoopsie, that's my phone, or what you would get if you were, say, using, you know, just flooring, if that makes sense. So in the bathroom, I had to size up the blinds. Now the reason that I had to size up the blinds, and they look kind of enormous, I think they're kind of okay, but they are kind of enormous as well, is that there is nothing, or not much anyway, for medium-sized windows, which is what I've used around the place, as far as curtains and base game. And I feel like that's a big oversight. Like, I just wanted like some simple blinds to cover the windows in base game, and it's just, you know, I needed it to look modern as well. I couldn't get away with, like, you know, the big heavy long drapery. It was just not going to work. So yeah, that's an interesting little oversight, and something we desperately need in the game is like just some base game curtains. I'm crossing my little fingies that we actually get something. Now these lights that I'm using are the new ones again that came with the latest update, and they are quite stackable, so you can kind of do like the lines of light that I've done around the place, and I think that's super cute. They're nice lights. I mean, could they be a little brighter? Yeah, of course. Most of the lights in The Sims 4 are really just far too dull, but they are pretty and I like them, and you can always, you know, stack on a little source of light on top like I've done in the garage, which we have. So we do have like this little garage, and I did make it a functional area, so a little hangout area. So it's going to have an art zone, it's going to have woodworking, it's going to have a dartboard as well. So there's actually quite a few little activities in here for your Sims. So this is going to be a functional room for your Sims to actually go in and do some stuff, you know, do some stuff. We don't have a lot of garage stuff in The Sims. Like, you know, there's like some debug tires, and there's like some debug tools, and there's a few like actual tools that you can use. This art stuff, by the way, if you're not familiar with this is locked. Those are locked items, so you get those from the artist career. By using the unlock entitlement cheat, you can actually make those accessible to be built by items. So if you are curious about how to get those in your game, they are the unlock entitlement cheat, just to be able to access those. I actually really like being able to access the locked items. There's some really cool items in there. I mean, I love that little art gallery set. I mean, up until when we got the art studio kit, that was kind of the best artist stuff that you can have in the game, was that locked stuff from the artist career. So, you know, there's some good stuff in there in the locked items that I use quite frequently. So it's a good cheat, little building cheat to use. You see like another one of the little phones going in there. I'm using like little bits of tools and like stuff, crates and bits and pieces around the place. You know, stuff that just kind of naturally works in a garage. I mean, this is all decorative over there, but there is some function to this garage in terms of, you know, the Sims can go in there, they can work on their charisma, they can have some fun with the dartboard, they can do some woodworking, and they can do some art. So, you know, it's a good place. It's a good little hobby space. So we're headed upstairs now, so you can sort of see we've got our little overhang area. We can look over into our beautiful planted garden, which I assume is going to be the case at some point for, you know, your Sims if you're going to be playing in this house. That's kind of the vision I had, is like, you know, you could have some beautiful trees growing in there. It's going to be lovely. So I'm just adding in the custom walls that I've been doing all around the place. I just did it again here on the landing up here using the windows and the half wall, and I'm just adding in the new lights because I completely forgot about them, and then when I was doing the lighting for something or other. I remembered about them and I ended up changing all the lights around the place because as you do. So up on the landing, just got like a nice little seating area. We've got some music so they can sit there and listen to music, and also a bookshelf. You know, you just want to make the little area nice and functional so they can sit there and do a little bit of skill building if they want to. Just chill out, have a good time, as you do. And another bookcase going in there, and just a little bit of debug artwork. So again, that can come up under your debug sheet for that. Also, I decided to get rid of that little console table and put in a computer. There is a computer in each of the bedrooms as well. So there's actually 3 computers in this house. So plenty of computer options. So there's a guest computer and there's a computer in each room. That was me just playing around with blinds, going, why do we not have a longer length blind in this game? Yes, I do. So this is the master bathroom upstairs. So it has a bath, it has a shower, it has a toilet, and it has counters as well. The half walls actually show through the wall. You can kind of see them on the bottom there a little bit. So I kind of hid those behind the behind the counters. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's our little secret. If you can't get rid of something, you hide it. That's the builder's secret. So I have created a little custom bath area. So just using a 2-high half wall and 2 counters on either end, and 2 little half top counters on either end. And I have play tested it and it works just fine. So the sim got in there, had a good time, put a TV on the end. So if you want to do like a TV where they can sit there and watch the TV, the tap end is the end where their feet go and their head will go at the other end. I believe I imagine that's the case for all the baths. I couldn't actually say that because I looked at every single bath and how that works, but this is how this works with this particular bath anyway, and I assume most other baths, if not all baths. So, you know, they can sit there and they can, you know, just sit in the bath and watch TV at the same time. It's really cute. So that is the counters going in. And again, I'm just using the counters that came out with the last update, and just putting in like a little simple rubbish bins, a little bit of clutter, a little mirror. It's quite nice actually just going full hog on this house without, you know, a budget constraint, you know, not doing a starter house or anything like that. It's just like building a beautiful house with just base game. And again, just popping out with a little bit of the teal as a contrast color. So moving on to the 2 bedrooms that we've got for this house. And so this is the single room. So again, I felt like it would be sort of a young adult, maybe an older teen. It's not a very teen bedroom. It definitely feels a lot more of an adult room. Whatever. It could be an elder. It could be whoever you like. Whoever you like to go in there, but it is a single bedroom with a single bed, and I just like did some little bits of clutter around the place. There is a dresser in there, there is a computer in there. I think that's about it, really. I mean, that's all we need. I didn't actually end up putting curtains in the bedroom. It just felt like they didn't need them, like they're on the top level, and they want to see the view, you know, and they've got this beautiful view and that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could add them if you're worried about privacy for the Sims. The Sims don't worry about it. They're like, yeah, we'll just get ourselves naked and have a naked shower in the rain. Or, you know, I guess you get the occasional embarrassed moodlet if you're walking on someone in the bathroom. It's quite funny. Do you get an embarrassed moodlet if you walk in on someone who is showering nude outside when it's raining? I guess if you don't have seasons, you know, you probably don't have that problem. Just thinking about it. You know, the seasons have been around so long. It's just so funny to think of playing this game without seasons. Yeah. Go figure. Anyway, moving on. Embarrassment. All good. So again, just using the sort of the pop of sort of blue / teal around the room and just adding that. Now, because I used carpet in the bedrooms, I actually didn't use a rug under the bed because it just kind of felt like a rug on top of carpet, which is kind of okay. It's a decorative item as well as just being a practical item. So, you know, but that's the reason I did not use a rug in these rooms, was because there was carpet down. And I thought, well, you know what? They probably don't need a rug. And also the rug options are so limited. It's just like, it's fine. That's the problem with some of the things in base game. Like some of the times, like artwork and rugs, I do struggle with a little bit in the game, just because they are limited in base game. And this is where I get a little bit spoiled with having all of the packs and just being all like, oh, I miss the other art that I like, and the other bits of clutter, and yeah, blah blah blah. But it's all good. You can do without it, and it's fine. And there's some perfectly good things in base game. I'm just a spoiled little princess who has all the packs and loves them, and will just gripe about it if I can. You know, as you do. But I'm just adding the little cushions we got from some event at some point to the couch, because, you know, just a little bit of a decorative effect, and some little items up along under the TV there. Again, another event TV, so hopefully people have done the events and have those items. Otherwise, I guess they will get replaced. Using an ottoman at the end of the bed, you know, good if you want to sit down and put your shoes on or your socks on or whatever there. Not that the Sims really do that, but they do tend to sit on those things. They quite like them. So, no, it's useful. So just putting in the third of the computer desks here, the VIP bucket, because I thought this is a couple's room, so maybe they get a little bit of romance going on there. The romantic VIP bucket. Again, that's a locked item, I believe. So you'll just need to have a particular cheat on to, not to download it or anything like that. You can download it easily without any of the cheats besides move objects, but if you want to access it for yourself, unlock entitlement, you'll be good. Anyway, screenshots are coming up. I'm going to leave you guys to enjoy those. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.